Hey everyone, this is Adrian with another release for Avo. So we're releasing 2.18 and we have quite a few things to discuss about. So let's get into it. So first of all, I want to thank our contributors. This release wouldn't have been so rich and nice without them. So thank you so much, Sarah, for your contributions on the time field. You really made like a very nice contribution, and thank you, Desmond, for extracting the pundit client. So what Desmond has been working on for the past I think a month now is to allow to extract the pundit client from Avo and allow other developers to add their own clients like Action Policy or even Can. Cool. So thank you so much, guys, and thank you for the rest of the contributors like Pedro and Raja. Every time you make Avo a little bit better. So going bottom up again, so we refactored this. So support optional policy scope. So this is just a little bit of an annoyance. If you had like user policy, if you had a policy that didn't actually expose the scope, it would crash. And now it doesn't, but you should set that scope anyway, so make sure you have that. Normalize and fix missing locale. So thank you so much, Pedro. This PR brings in a gem that helps us with that. Let me just check it out. It's where is it? Come on. It's yes, I18 and tasks. So this just makes every localization file reorder the strings. It reorders the strings and makes them a little bit easier to work with. They show us like what keys we aren't using and so on. So thank you so much, Pedro, for this contribution. Next, white panel classes helper toolbar. So somebody pointed out that they would like to use the white panel classes. So these are, let me see, where are they? They're these ones. So now we've extracted them into application helper, and you can use them as a regular helper if you want to build something custom on your own. Restore panel shadow and overflow. So we pushed a few changes, I think, in the sidebar, and we broke some of the shadows. They weren't like visible on the side, so we fixed that. Require only the needed Rails dependency. I think John pointed this out. Yes. So what happened was before we were requiring the full Rails. Let me just get here, gem spec. We were requiring the full Rails package, and we don't really need everything. So now we're requiring only what we need, like active record and action view, and we are properly requiring them in the gem. I'm going to get, like, we have a breaking change here, but I'm going to get to that at the end in the upgrade guide. So this just slims down Avo a little bit, so it doesn't install all of that craft that you don't really need. So yeah, thank you for that nudge. In the maintenance, we updated the Postgres port. Eric, thank you for this contribution. It's related to the Docker Compose file. Unlock the view component. So the view component gem was locked to, I think, 2.60. We had an issue at one point, and now we have unlocked it. We updated nokogiri, so this was a security issue. Now getting to bug fixes, Terhe, thank you so much for fixing our Norwegian translation. Next, we fixed the attachment destroy button. It was broken, so I think I can show you this on the Avo demo website. So if I go to a project and add some files, where are they? Here, yeah, let me add 2 files, save. Now if I go and delete one of them, what happens is I'll get a 404, but Actually, this might not. Okay, I think this is okay. Yeah, this is an older Avo version, so this wasn't impacted. So the issue was whenever you would download a file, you would get a 404. The file would be deleted, but you would get a 404. So now that's fixed and works. Coolio. Search container duplicated on back action. Thank you, Raja, for this. So what happened was whenever you would navigate through Avo and go back and Teams and whatever, whenever you would go back, this search and this search container, they would get duplicated, and that would be just have like nasty artifacts, and now everything is fixed. The panel's overflow hides the filters pop-up, so this is related to this one. We fixed that, so it was an overflow issue. Panel's too tall again. We pushed this bug when we pushed the sidebar feature, so this panel would actually flow all the way down to match the other panel, so that has been fixed as well. Fix action field option default broken. So what happened was toggle inactive. Let's open this one. If you would use this default option on a field that's on an action, the default value wouldn't be visible, and now it is. So let's try it out. Toggle inactive, so you see the default values are present. So that's been fixed. Broken time zone time. So when we push the time field, I found a few bugs with the time and the date and the daytime fields. So there are a lot of edge cases there that might happen. So what we try to do with the time and daytime fields is to cast the time in the user's browser time zone. So whenever like you're on a project and you see started at, this would be cast to your actual time zone. So we do this with JavaScript, but maybe you don't want to do that and you want to keep it relative, or maybe you want to set a specific time zone for everybody. Or so there are a lot of these edge cases, like the date doesn't need to be cast to a time. The time doesn't need to be cast to a date, but it does. So there are a lot of edge cases there. So I think we fixed all of the bugs now, and we have a good testing suite for all of those fields. So they should work very well now. Moving on to features. So the first feature I want to talk about is the time field. So I think we have it on a course resource. Okay, yeah. So we have the starting at, which is a time, and you can add like picker format or format options, the same things that you could have added on daytime, and you can set it to relative. So this is relative true, and if I go to courses, now this time would just be relative. Even if it displays the time zone here, this is just what I specified inside this format, but actually this time would be relative to your browser. So yeah, and one other option that we pushed, all of those date picker, all of those fields that have a picker, like flat picker, you can push the options now. So we use the flat picker, and all of these options are now available to you. So you can just check them out, and if you just want to take this one and add it here, and that would just work, and you could add whatever format you want. So this is a nice addition as well. Coolio. So thank you, Sarah, again for this. Moving on, extract pundit client. So this is a big one. Desmond has been working on this for a while now. So what this PR actually does is it extracts the pundit client from the authorization service. So now, let me check it out. So now you or other developers can come in and add a different authorization client, like action policy or can, or anything else you might want to use. So you're not like stuck with Pundit. Pundit will be available to you by default, but you can switch to something else. So Desmond, again, thank you so much for this. It was great. Coolio. So these two features, I added them today. Oh, sorry. So stacked fields by default. So let's say you have some fields, like I'm going to go into project resource and let's find another one. Let's say you have some fields that, like this meta key, this key value, that you would actually want to use the full horizontal space for them, right? That could be like the tricks or the markdown or maybe the files and so on. So introduce this new option. I'm going to go to key value. Where is it? Here. And I'm just going to say stacked and set it to true. Perfect. And now when I refresh the page and I go back down, you'll see this field has a different layout. Now the label is on top and the value is actually using the full horizontal space. So you can do that. Let's see if the files looks nice. Okay, yeah, cool. So see, now the files like take the whole horizontal width, and it just looks a little bit better and helps you maximize like the space you have available. So maybe you don't want to set this to true to every field, and now you can go into your initializer and set something like field wrapper layout, and the default is inline, but you can set it to stacked. And now when we refresh the page, all of the fields use this stacked format. So you see label on top, value on the bottom, and they would use the same way. They would use it the same way on edit as well. So yeah, this is something that maybe you want it, maybe you don't, but it's available. Somebody really needed it. Cool. And now, where was I? Releases. Perfect. Label and content are available in the HTML options. So earlier this year, we introduced something. We introduced a Stimulus.js integration, and by doing that, we also introduced the ability to add HTML, the HTML option to your fields. So you could add something like, let me find a resource like this. So it'd say like, I want to add an HTML attribute on edit, on the edit view, on the input, and I want to add some data, right? So you could do that. I can do that on index and on edit and on show, and you can target different types of content, right? And edit and every little bit. Cool. And now we added a few more. So before you would be able to say like for the index field wrapper and the show field wrapper, and I think edit field wrapper and edit input, right? And you can get these sections. But now we added the label. So now you can target this area and the content, which takes everything. And the same on the edit. So you can do the label and you can do the content. And like the input only targets the input, but the content targets everything. So let me just show you how this works. So I'm in the course resource, and I'm just gonna say for the link HTML, and let's say like show. I would like to add on the label, right? And I would like to say class BG gray 50, right? And let's see, let's go to courses. Okay, and let me just reset this one. Inline. Okay, and again, going back. So HTML on the show, the label, classes, sorry. Oh, okay, so this is the course link actually. Yeah, cool. So you see like BG gray 150, and if I say 100, yep, this one, and I can say something like text pink 50 or something. Yep, it doesn't look that good, but you could do it. Maybe 100. No, this is not good either. Okay, let's just stop here. So pink 600. So you can totally customize that. And then let's try content as well. And let's just let's just use the same thing, right? And now this has been styled as well. You have some padding here, but you can add some styles to take that out. Cool, so I think this will give you a lot of power to further customize like the whole experience if you want to do anything like that. In this PR, we actually added something else. So let me just go to, where is it, like field wrapper. So on the show and edit field wrapper, and we added these, where is it? Actually, that's in the class. So we added a few extra classes. So all field wrappers now use this. Just a second. So all field wrappers use this class. Like you can target the field wrapper using the field wrapper class, and they also have like field wrapper layout inline, or if it's a stacked layout, it will use that as well. So you can now better and more easily target these elements and style them in CSS and add like global styles and make everything look however you need them to look. Going forward, we have a few pull requests open. We're working on a few things alongside the community, but we have one surprise that we just want to keep it a surprise. So it'll be nice. We have a few tickets where we need some help. There are a few good first issues, and you have about a week to still participate in the Hacktoberfest if you're doing that. So come grab a ticket. So there are a few breaking changes, something that you'll have to do to upgrade from 2.17 to 2.18. So because we made that change, not requiring Rails anymore, you need to do a few things. You need to include active storage and image processing if you're using the file and the files gem of a field. If you're using the country field, you should include the countries gem. Next, on the dashboard, you should include ChartKit because we don't include it by default anymore, because some people don't use the dashboards feature, so we don't want to just pile that on as a dependency. Again, if you're using the authorization feature, you should include the pundit gem because again, when we extracted the pundit gem from the default installation, now some people might use action policy and they don't need the pundit gem. So again, everything has been made in order for Avo to be a little bit more streamlined and slimmed down, and add as few dependencies as possible. So please check out the upgrade guide. You should check it out for every version. We have been breaking a few things from a few versions ago, but everything is set here. So whatever you need to do, you'll find it here. So no worries about that. And I want to show you Short Ruby again, because this edition has been amazing. Brendan Weaver talked about the hash object, and then people just started like tweeting about the hash and its particularities and other things. So it's just amazing, and you'll find a lot of tips and tricks. So go ahead and check it out if you haven't yet. I know I recommended Short Ruby for you, but I want to recommend something else. I want to recommend Derek Sivers. He's an amazing writer, and Your Music, Your People is an amazing book. I've heard about it from Adam Wadman, and when I read it, I just found so many bits of useful like advice and how to like live your life and how to see things. So I strongly recommend you read like Your Music and People and the other books that Derek wrote, because they're very lightweight and easy to read. Cool. So I think that's about it for this week's release. Yep. Again, if you love Avo, just share it with everybody. Tell them how much you love it. If you don't, tell us why you don't, and we'll try to make it better. We have another beautiful release up. Send us your feedback, and thank you for using Avo, and have an amazing week. See you in the next one.